Good morning, everybody. Today is Friday, May 30th, 2014, and this is Before the First Cup with Jules, Lady Pitbull, and maybe Zori. We're waiting for Zori at maybe Zori on TV. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Hi.
How you doing?
Ugh.
Can you hear it in my voice?
Yeah.
I feel highly allergic today.
Oh, no.
I'm just sore from all the working out that I've been doing this week. Sore from head to toe. Plus, I'm sort of out of a job, so I'm kind of freaking out right now.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I think my sister's looking to close her shop.
Oh, no.
Yeah. It's not good. I mean, she doesn't need me today or tomorrow or Sunday, and those are the biggest days. So, I don't know what I'm gonna do.
eBay.
So many businesses are going down, you know?
Oh my god, everything. Yeah, it's so bad. So bad.
I don't, my plan always was to go back to the old school way of doing things and having multiple families living together. Mm-hmm. And I mean, honestly, that is the way that it used to be done. There were multi-generations that lived together. And, you all supported each other.
Absolutely. And you took care of your elders.
Well, and your elders helped you take care of the children, so you could actually work and make some money, That's something that's kind of been forgotten in my family.
Been lost in everyone's family.
Yeah, it's like, oh, screw you. Take care of the kid and go make the money. And you know what? As we're sitting here dwindling and losing our Social Security and everything, well, you know what? You'll have to take care of us too at some point. But we didn't help you. And I got to tell you, it gets irritating to me at times when I look at like the end game, and the end game is at some point financially, it's going to come down to me. But would have been nice if somebody would have helped me take care of the kid, from a parental perspective, grandparents.
Absolutely.
So that I can work more. Because you have this guilt complex when you're working and you have kids and you don't have time, and it's between work or it's the kids. And so you tend to work less. But if you're working less, you're losing earnings, and every time that you turn down working extra time or taking on an extra project, that's an earnings loss.
Sure, absolutely.
But at some point, when you find your parents, somebody has a catastrophic disease or some horrible accident, and they're going to end up in a home, all right, well, they got to now sell everything off, get rid of all their assets, so they have a penny.
Yeah.
It's everything they ever worked. Like, it just, to me, anybody who does that and then sits there now at, retirement age with everything still sitting in their names, just waiting for the state to come take it all.
Yeah, exactly.
Why would you do that? You need to worry about financial planning. You put everything into your kid's name. You get it out of your name, and you help your kids. You help your kids so they can help support you.
Right, and then that's supposed to happen for their children, too.
Exactly, and that's the way it always happened. But I don't know what this selfish bullshit is, but you know what? It's really irritating to me.
Yeah. One of my grandfathers we definitely took care of at home. And, he died in his sleep in the middle of the night.
And that's the way I want to go.
Yeah. Right in his bed,
My bed. No tubes sticking out of me or...
That's right, absolutely.
Noisy, stinky hospitals.
It's dignified that way. So I was glad we were able to do that for him.
That's nice, actually. That's very nice.
Yeah.
Not that we want to start another show talking about death.
Yes. Well, it's taking care of elders is what it is.
It is.
Now, if they're 101 years old, like that lady I take care of, and she's, got all her faculties.
Jet setting.
Jet setting around the world, then it's okay, because she wants to take care of herself. Damn it, she wants to be independent, and that's fine. But, when she fell down, her daughter had to come and stay with her and take care of her and stuff like that. But then she was like, get the hell out, go back home. So she kicked her own daughter out. But that's awesome. I mean, if you're like that, that's how I want to be when I grow up.
That's how my grandmother was.
See, that's great.
My grandmother ran her bar until the day she died. And the woman was in her 90s. They found her on the stairs. That was it. She closed up shop and went upstairs, and that was it.
Yup. And that's a good way to go, too, though, I mean, if you're, you got all your faculties up to the very last minute, and then, bam, you go out, that's perfect. It's a great life, really,
Yeah, and she sure did have her faculties. I mean, my grandmother never missed a beat, and she always told you where to stick it if you pissed her off.
That's awesome, dude.
As you can tell, I think I have some of those genetics.
But that's exactly how it should be, man. Just, put you in your place, you get out of
she never took shit from anybody, and she was like little, 4'11", this lady, with the red beehive, and she would tell you where to stick your lunch.
That's awesome.
Oh my god. And, in the 70s, she had all kinds of platform shoes, cause she was so short. I'm not much taller. I'm almost 5'4", 5'3.5". So I'm still pretty little, but my mother, my sister, were all about the same height. But my grandmother was 4'11". She was short.
Wow. That's pretty amazing. That's wonderful.
Anyway, so. Yeah, I don't know what to even talk about today. I hit the bed, I don't know, I think I stayed up till about 11. And I needed to go close my eyes. Was working on, if you guys take a look in the menu on the website, I think I enabled everything. I double checked last night before I went to bed. On the show page, I have most of the new banners. I don't have the banners for next week. So the new shows for next week, I'm going to get up there, but I have to wait until after this weekend is over for all the programming to be able to be changed. So I didn't put them up there, but at least on the show page and in the drop downs, I have the new shows that are starting this weekend, and we've revised some things. Let's see, we got New Deal Renaissance, which is Saturday night, and that is going to be with Matthew and Evan, 6 to 8 p.m., so that's one new show. We got JJ kicking it off Sunday morning at 10. You see I got his banner up there too. Woohoo!
Awesome.
Yep. So JJ will be starting. Also, J. Cynthia Brooks and Ian Jacklin, I mentioned that yesterday. Ian is working on his second documentary, and he's been traveling all over and been extremely busy, so he had to kind of give something up. So for now, he took time off the show. So Cynthia is doing the show herself. She wanted to change the name to Cancer Kickers from I Cure Cancer, because that's kind of his name. So, did her new banner. We got that up yesterday. She gave me the stamp of approval. I redid her page for her.
Wow.
Who else did we have going on? I had to change something else. It was crazy yesterday. I couldn't believe all the stuff I had to do. Drew, I got Drew's Off-Grid Journey, banner and page, and you can see that if you hit the show, just roll over the show drop down and scroll, you'll see the Off-Grid Journey, but I haven't posted his banner yet. That one I liked a lot. I've shown you guys my Off-Grid Journey, website before.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Drew is going to actually utilize that, and we're going to help build that using the show. So that'll be very exciting. We'll be able to start getting content out there. You know what I mean?
Yay.
Have topics to talk about. I want to see about, I was just too tired to do it last night, but I think I'm going to go grab Prepper Chick's Facebook feed and feed that out here as well.
Yay!
And maybe start getting some of the prepper community involved and helping us build that site. So that'll be great.
That's awesome.
Drew also wants to do some educational videos and stuff for that with his partner. So and they have they've been building some aquaponics systems that are small and in pieces with like little blueprints that they want to start marketing. So I told them I want to be one of the first people. I want to get one because that would be a great project. And I know my daughter would love, growing plants and fish. Come on.
Yeah.
That's
great, huh?
Drew's also got his black soldier fly larva composting thing going on, and he's like, "Oh, I'll send you a kit of those to try them out." And I was like, "Oh, but I bet they look like maggots." He's like, "But they are maggots." I was like, "Oh,
I hate maggots.
I don't know if I can do that."
Maggots in the mail.
Yeah, I might let my munchkin do that one. She has no fear. She loves anything squiggly and buggy.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
That's great.
After dinner the other night, we were watching one of the survival shows, and it was the last episode. I don't remember what they call the show, but it's with Joe and Cody. You know the two I'm talking about, the former Marine
Survival or something.
Special Forces. Huh?
Survival. I think it's called Dual Survival.
Oh yeah, Dual Survival, yeah. There's the one guy Special Forces and the other guy was like the hill guy who always walked in bare feet. So there definitely was friction
I've
between
really
them.
watched it.
Oh, it was a good show. It really was because they were so different and they didn't get along, you know?
Yeah.
But Cody, the guy in bare feet, he was absolutely against Joe cutting this hide off of this rotting cow that they found in the deserts of New Mexico. Because they'd already found one that was already completely gone and all it was there was a hide. So he was working on that one. And Joe's like, "Oh, we can't let this go to waste. It's got horns, it's got hide, and it's but I mean, it was rotted and maggoty. It was and so the one guy's like, "Oh, you want to go get it? I mean, you could get sick, you could cut yourself, you don't know what kind of bacteria's in there. You know, we're in the desert. If you get sick, that's like a whole day's worth of fluid you're losing, and we don't even have a water source." I mean, he brought some good points.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And so anyway, the guy decides to go for it. So he is cutting this thing up. I am sitting there with my eyes closed going, la 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 la, because I can't watch it. And my daughter's like, "Oh, Mom, no big deal." I was like, "Are you kidding me? You're watching what he's doing?" I mean, it was just gross. So, anyway.
That's a funny ass story. I like that. So that's the hippie dude that goes in the middle of the desert with bare feet.
Oh, and he was up in
110 degrees.
Like Siberia.
With the Siberian, and he had
he had wool socks on. That's all he had on his feet.
Dumbass.
And shorts. Cause that's the way he lives. He has an earthship out somewhere in the desert. And he lives off grid. But anyway, I guess he quit.
Oh, he did.
After one of those last episodes, yeah, they had a huge blowout and he quit. So this new guy that they just got on there, he's actually lived out in the deserts of Utah for 20 years. Off grid, on the land, making himself little shelters. So he's like, a real life Tarzan dude.
Oh, that's awesome.
But I don't know. I know TV. We don't watch TV, but 1 hour a night after dinner, we find something science show or a survival show. And I gotta say, you know, I have learned a whole hell of a lot from watching the survival shows. I really have. You know, did you know about boiling water? If you have a container, this is what I learned yesterday. If you have a container that isn't heat worthy to be able to boil water to sterilize it, you take rocks and you throw them into the fire. And you let the rocks get super hot, and then you pick the rocks out with, you know, a stick or whatever, and throw it into your water container, and the water boils.
Yes.
And you haven't melted your container.
Right.
Wow.
Yep. I've heard that.
That's a pretty neat idea. But anyway, so there's a new dude on there now, and he seriously is like, he looks like he just came off of a deserted island somewhere.
Oh man. Is he barefooted?
Yes. And he's wearing like, just a skin.
Like a loincloth?
Like a skin that he made from some animal that he skinned. Yeah.
That's all he wears? Is just that?
Yeah. And Joe, and I know Joe was like so happy because he and Cody didn't get along, and that was like his biggest point of contention was the fact that the dude always was compromising their mission. He never had clothes on. He had shoes. He didn't have a shirt. You know what I mean? And he's like, dude, if you freaking go down, then I gotta try and save you. So
right.
Then he meets his new, cohort yesterday, and he's just like speechless. He's like, I go from this dude to this dude, and all we gotta have is a loincloth.
Oh my God.
Great.
It sounds good.
I knew a dude that was running around this camp that I used to go to, and he got poison ivy all over his balls. And he
gotta watch where you crap in the woods.
Yes! He had to run around all summer.
Is not a piece of toilet paper.
He had to run around for weeks in a freaking robe. He couldn't put pants on. Oh my God. Crazy stuff.
He wasn't doing that, like, intentionally. It was out of necessity.
Well, it was... Alright, you forced me to talk
No, come on, don't say it.
No, it's not that. It was a camp that I went to when I was 15 years old up in Vermont.
Oh.
And, it was a big string of camps, and there was, like, a camp in the front for, like, all the young, little boys, and then the middle camp was for like teenagers like me, and then there was a camp for the girls, you know, and they separated. It was up this road. It was pretty cool. But they had this thing at this camp called the Fifth Freedom, right?
No.
And it was bathing suit optional. And it was a co-ed camp that I went to, and everybody swam freaking naked in this camp. And so I learned at like 15 how to sunbathe in the nude. So I have no problems with it now. And I was like, when I was done with that camp, man, I was like looking real good, you know. I had a tan all over. It was all nice and everything. So, you know, it was pretty cool. That's where that happened. He must have been, you know, swimming, and then he went up and maybe sat down on the shore and got it.
Ow, man, that must hurt. Oh.
Yeah, he was suffering bad. I mean, they had the outhouses there that were like 4-seaters. You know what I mean? Yeah. Oh yeah.
In a row.
No. It was like a big box, and all 4 sides had a freaking seat.
Oh, so each corner.
Yeah, well no, yeah. It was big. It was giant. It was giant. And we put lime and ash down there after we were done. You know what I mean? And,
weren't sitting next to each other talking.
That's exactly what happened.
It was like a big community bench.
It was. It was a community shitter.
Oh, wow.
I'm not kidding. By the end of the summer, I didn't care.
It's kind of like living in the dorms, I guess.
But what was funny is that I got into some trouble at school, right? And my dad wanted to send me to a work camp. I'll tell the story. It's hilarious. So, he wanted to send me to a work camp, and, he thought, you know, he had found a really good work camp in Vermont, you know, and he was gonna drive me there in a van, or in a RV, and, you know, rent an RV and take me there, and it was coming, like, I was gonna leave, like, school was ending, and I was gonna leave in a day or so, after the weekend, and then I was all bummed out, and I was sitting in my philosophy class, and I was staying after, and I was reading something, I don't know, I was all bummed out, and my philosophy teacher goes, "What the hell's the matter with you?" And I gave him the pamphlet, and I said, "I have to go to camp, you know, a work camp." And then he read it, and I was there doing, like, whatever, and he started laughing. Like, hard. And he's like, "Did you read this?" And I'm like, "No." You know? So he handed it to me, and he pointed out that Fifth Freedom thing, and I just went, "Oh my God, you gotta be shitting me. I don't know if my dad even knows this." So later that night, I went, you know, I did it at dinner, you know, I'm like, Dad, did you read this brochure?" He's like, "Of course I did," you know. I'm like, I bet you didn't read the whole thing! You know what I mean? So I was like, alright, read that. And his face turned white.
Oh,
I mean, ghostly white. He had no clue.
What did you even tell him? He was like, all right, Dad, I'm going to the camp.
We were on our way. I mean, camp was paid for. I mean, it was a done deal, man. We were leaving in a couple days. And, sure enough, man, I was scared at first. I was like all shy and
freaky people.
Yeah, and there was all these freaking hippies running around, you know. But it was a co-ed camp too, so it was the boys and the girls.
That's pretty crazy. I would think I'd be more worried about that.
Yeah, exactly.
Teenager, no less.
Right, but everybody was, nobody was idiotic. Everybody was respectful, everybody became good friends, and there was like no weirdness that went on at all, like with anybody. It was pretty cool. And the only electricity in the whole camp was up at where the dining area was.
It reminds you of Freddie.
And we did. We had to get up early and we had to go take care of the cows, sheep, goats. Garden was a big community garden. We all had to freaking till. We all had to weed. We all had to, you know, do this stuff for the whole summer. And it was cool, man. It was one of the coolest experiences I ever had. But my modesty, you know, hey, it's out the window. I'm not modest at all. So it's pretty interesting. It was a cool experience.
Yeah, I think that the community garden would be a good thing, but anything like that with no electricity and out in the woods in the middle of a camp makes me think of bad horror movies from the 70s and the 80s.
That's funny. I think I went to that camp before Friday the 13th came out.
Oh, good.
So we never had that image in our heads. What I was worried about though was spiders. I always used to look for them and stuff before I went to bed.
I still do.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
My hands across my blankets and kind of just move it a little bit, make sure I don't see any movement.
Right,
and right. How many is it they say we eat in our sleep a year?
Oh, I know! Oh my god! Dude, I just, shit, dude.
Yeah, if I ever wake up with my mouth open, that's the first thing I think of.
Oh,
oh no, close your mouth. Spiders are This is so weird.
Oh, jeez, I've got a button on my lips.
What was that?
I got a button on my lips. Just because I don't even want to think about that. Ooh. It's horrible.
Especially because you can get bitten. Does anyone know how Lance is doing? You know,
Jimmy said he's gonna be okay.
What happened to Lance?
He got bitten by a spider and it got a big open wound on him.
Oh shit.
Went to the hospital.
Wasn't clues. Those things have poison in them and it causes necrosis.
Oh, I know. Believe me, when I worked in a hospital, for better part of 5 years and, there was a kid who came in and he got bit too and I watched that son of a bitch go from 2 little marks on his arm to, oh, I can see your bone in a week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, catch up with me after the show because, I guess Lance had to go back to the doctor again. So, he wasn't on Wednesday, so I'm definitely a little concerned how he's doing.
Man, I know calcium bentonite clay, if you put that in there, that sucks out
poison.
Yeah. That'd be the first thing I'd do. Then get to a
potato.
Infection, huh? What, sorry?
Oh, or raw potato. Raw potato really, it's a great poultice. It just pulls it right, you can feel it pulling it out.
Well, that's a good one. And put it on with an ace bandage?
Yeah, you know, and you put it on and it'll draw until the potato turns black and then you just, put it through like a cheese grater and then you put another batch on and it pulls boils or anything like that. You can just feel it sucking it out.
Oh, you grate the potato first?
Right, you peel it and then you grate it like with cheese and then you just pack that straight on.
Yeah, don't grate it with cheese. Grate it with
grate it. Yeah, just with the cheese grater.
I want potato and cheese poultice.
Nah. No, but
That's funny.
Next thing we'll be getting emails from people. I tried the potato and cheese. And it
no.
Use the cheese grater.
Yeah. There you
That's
go.
funny. Oh
Yeah,
my goodness.
but potatoes are very strong poultice. It pulls out almost any infection. So, it's a good one to remember.
Well, think about Lance. He's probably not going to be on again tonight, I bet.
Well, Jimmy said he was going to be all right because we were all showing concern. He went to the hospital, I guess, but I guess Jimmy was talking to him, and we all told him to tell him that we're thinking about him. So, but yeah, he said he was going to be okay.
I mean, talking about being afraid of spiders, precisely the reason why.
Oh yeah,
like the brown recluse. Oh my God,
that's what bit Lance, right?
I don't know.
Was it?
Oh, you don't know?
I don't know what bit him, but it got pretty serious. I mean, I had a spider bite when I was a kid. We used to, when we first put up our little shed in the backyard, it was like right as summer vacation was starting, so my sister and I claimed it as our clubhouse for the summer.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad let us, we put the old bunk beds out there, and we got a light and a radio, and we camped out in the shed all summer. And then
that's fun.
in the fall, he put his shelves up and all the garbage went out there, but we at least had it for the summer. So, I remember waking up one morning and I felt this like pain on the side of my head and a spider, they, with their little pincers, can't get you places where there's no loose skin. Okay. So they gotta get you where there's some loose skin that they can grab and bite into. Yeah. So one of those places is right where your earlobe connects to your head. And that's where he got me. It was right on my earlobe. Swelled up. I didn't know what it was. I'm like, what is this? But it was a spider bite. And it lasted a long time. But it, that was just like a New York house spider probably.
Yeah, yeah.
It's down in the warmer climates where they have scarier spiders.
Alright.
Yeah, we have black widows and those scare me.
Oh shit. Alright, I'll tell this freaking story too. It's really actually heinous. I was camping in the Pictured Rocks one year when I was younger. And, it was kind of illegal camping too. I don't think we were supposed to be there. But, it was like up on a cliff. It was just gorgeous. I woke up and like I was laying on my back and when the first thing I saw when I opened my eyes was this giant spider on the outside of the tent. And so I stared at it for a while, and then my boyfriend woke up, and he's like, well, what's the matter with you? And I didn't say anything, I just pointed up there, to the spider, and he takes it and freaking flicks it off the tent.
Well, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Isn't that fun? I like doing that. When you see a bug on a tent or on a screen, you go, bang!
Problem when he
like 30
did
feet.
that, the problem is when he freaking did that, thousands and thousands of babies came out and went all over this tent on all sides. Huh?
Pregnant?
Yes! When he flicked that son of a bitch off, all those babies were just everywhere, and I didn't come out for like 2 hours.
Oh, jeez.
I was like, no way! Oh my god, he was so pissed
I
off.
have to say that scarier than spiders ever is a nest of baby spiders that just hatches.
I just killed a whole nest the other day, actually. They were all over the freaking garbage.
To me. I had a whole ceiling. It was actually my daughter's firstborn in her room. And I have the queen size bed in there, and I got her crib in there, and I mean, she was just born. I was still nursing. And I remember I'm laying there, and I look up, and I'm like, what are all those little dots on the ceiling? And I stand up, and there's a million see-through spiders. There must have been a nest in it. It had just hatched. I was killing spiders for a week, and I counted every one, and I was over 300 when I finally stopped counting.
Oh my god. What I did the other day, when I saw them all over the garbage can, I just got some frickin' raid. Just frickin' blasted them all. At that point, I don't care about the toxic poisons. You know what I mean?
Wow, Facebook is doing some really funky stuff. You know how, like, we've been complaining forever?
Yeah.
Well, they've done this big change now, so all the pages look like they're broken. Well, I cracked the nut last night. It's the way that a couple years back, they made you change your identity. So when you have, like, a page that isn't your personal page, like I have the UCY page, Behind the Curtain page, you had to change your identity so you're the identity of the page. And then you could post as the page. You don't want to post as yourself. You want to post as the page, right?
Right.
Nobody cares that it's from Jules. They want to know it's from UCY, right? They don't
care. Right.
So, anyway, and it did. It's broken. God. So, it's really irritating, but I discovered what Facebook did. We were all complaining yesterday that now the pages aren't letting us share anywhere, but no, that's not the case. It's just that now Facebook has changed it so instead of being universal like it was before, where you could have all your accounts set as one setting and then just post across all of them, now you literally have to go to every page and change your identity when you upload it and then change your identity back when you share it, which is going to confuse the living shit out of every single person that uses Facebook and cause you, when you post on your page, instead of the page post ending up in the feed, you're going to end up posting it as yourself, and it's going to end up off to the side lost and never get in your feed. So, end result is they've screwed it up even more, so even less people see your stuff, and so you share even less because now it is so difficult. And while I am just sharing for the show announcement that took me 33 minutes to get up, mind you, I ended up still doing it wrong because it showed up as myself, and as I went to reshare it, it gave me a little notice that said, you want to boost your post? This will cost you $6.99.
What?
First time I ever saw that.
Oh,
wow.
This will cost you $6.99.
So now they're charging.
That's what this is all about, the bastards.
Bastards.
And I could tell you that I share all day long. I don't think there were any posts that got over 5 views, but the grand majority, and I mean even on the big pages like Alternative Journalism, it's 0. Everything. 0.
Wow.
That's insane.
It is. You know, all the time and effort that all of us put into getting subscribers to come sign up for our page, who enjoyed our news and enjoyed the perspectives that we gave, and now these fuckers cut them all off, and they're going to make us pay to even contact these people. I mean,
It's called blackmail.
It's called blackmail. It's called Zuckerberg is a crook.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
You know, text yesterday told me that there was a story out there that Iran apparently was subpoenaing, actually the way the story read was allegedly was subpoenaing Zuckerberg.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah? I thought it was over, and Google, I guess. It was over privacy concerns. I mean, the EU has called them out before. That story came out like 2 or 3 days ago, and then I saw an update that when Tech had mentioned it, I did a quick search, and I saw an update like from 5 hours before from a U.S. publication, not a European publication, that said it was all a hoax.
Oh, right.
You know, it's like, oh, we got the propaganda machine working.
Uh-huh.
You know.
Fuckers, what fuckers?
I hate it. I hate it. So what, are they gonna go like now, Zuckerbucker fucker is gonna get Obama to go over there and say, hey, cover my ass, dude, cause I'm your NSA all this data.
That's right.
Iran's gonna execute me, keep me safe. I think you should have to stand trial in Iran.
Right, exactly. Save me.
Yeah, well, you know, that's what, hey, bend over CEOs of tech firms to the federal government and they'll cover your ass no matter what happens.
Right.
CYA.
Right.
Hey, I'm gonna share something with you. I, was having some conversations the other night in regards to the Ukraine. Last night I passed out, so I'm on 2-day-old news in my head, but, I did share news all day, so I'm sure I have something to talk about, but here's something that you guys might find interesting, and on my Behind the Curtain page, I do sometimes put educational material out there, and I think people appreciate it. That one post got over almost 100 views, so I think that people appreciate it, especially when everything else got like 0 or 4.
Right.
But we were conversing the other night in regards to whether or not the Ukraine was a part of NATO. Because there was a story, and I don't think we ever got here, so why don't we use this as a little bit of a lead-in? Even though they've changed my page, so now it's just one big fat stream. So trying to find anything, you gotta scroll now 55 freaking stories. See, again, this is another change made to make it very difficult to utilize a Facebook page for information.
Mm-hmm.
Because now I don't know where the frig this is. Before it used to be in 2 rows. And so you could like at least see 2 rows of content at a time. Now it's just one big slow scroll. That's all it is.
Boy, they really did the carrot on the stick thing with Facebook, didn't they?
They sure did. And you know, I keep thinking I might need to sick Paul on Facebook. And just, we already have this little portal that we created. Nick and I are getting ready to launch something, which we just both of us have been so busy, but it's up, it's running. I think we bought like 3 domains that are pointing to it, but if you want to check out just the framework, it looks a lot like UCY because it is the back end, but Paul wrote us all kinds of new little apps to go with it. Activistlist.com, and we are going to start promoting global events and things of that nature, as well as, you know, I'm going to start posting some videos of all the global beatings and uprisings that are going on. We're going to get some good stuff going on out there, but there is a whole social media component to that, and everybody can have a login. And
Neat.
You can post your own stories, and you can put ads on them. You know what I mean? Monetize your own stories. So we might actually get some fun stuff going on. I just need more hours in a day.
Yeah.
To do what I do now. You know,
Wow.
and I get to a point where I just feel like I'm like 1 foot in the grave and I just gotta stop for a few days, you know?
Yeah, I hear that. I mean, sometimes you just have to push the stop button.
Yeah, I mean, every day I feel like
Either that or you burn out completely.
Well, not only that, plus these allergies have just been kicking my ass for the last 2 months. You know, it's really hard.
Yeah.
You're not getting the correct amount of oxygen, and so you just always feel exhausted, you know?
Yeah.
But I can feel
Yeah,
my
that's-
lungs are just all swollen. I gotta get that turmeric. That would be the thing to do.
Yeah. Yup, the inflammation.
Alright, here we go. I found it down
Yay.
days ago. So, Hegel. Alright, so we're going to talk about the Ukraine, and this is kind of how the conversation started. So, I guess from what I was reading, there was the election. Did you guys see that supposedly it was some billionaire, quote unquote, that was elected to be the Ukrainian president? Now,
No, I didn't see that.
I don't know anything about him as far as his political affiliations or anything like that. And hold on, Ukraine.
Yeah, they're saying your mic is low, Jules. I've been noticing.
Now I muted. I turned it down because it was so loud. It was like blasting out the speakers.
Oh.
So let me turn it back up, I guess.
I wasn't sure if it was me, but then, Captain just said, it's
Try that.
Ah, that's great.
I mean, it's so loud though, and it almost gets like distorted if I start getting excited.
Oh, I see what you're doing.
You know? I mean, just bounce through an archive for, oh shit, hold on. I think I just killed it. Bounce through an archive for a second and, click to a spot where I'm excited.
Oh.
And then, especially if you're listening to it in headphones. You're like, holy shit, Joel. Cut the volume.
Or just make it a little lower.
Yeah, well, that's what I did. But see, there's no real controls. It's just Skype volume, but I'm already all the way to the bottom.
I see.
And if I do automatically adjust, that screws it up when the music starts. So,
I see.
can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah, you're coming in good now.
Alright, let me hit save. Okay, so, let me see what, cause I know that I didn't see any, videos on this. Oh, but look there's one on CBS. It was a billionaire, that one. Poroshenko. Billionaire candy maker, Petro. Petro Poroshenko. Is it Petro oil?
That's what I thought.
Petro. And where have I heard Poroshenko? Poroshenko. Or is that like a common Ukrainian name like Smith? Wasn't that the woman, the former president, the one that was jailed? Wasn't that her last name? Poroshenko? I don't know, but it sure sounds familiar. Alright, hold on. I'm gonna pull myself in and let me check. I have 2 sessions. Oh no, wait. That's UCY is just our banners. Oh my god, it's so good to see JJ's picture up there again.
Yay! Yeah. Oh my god. Oh dude, I gotta go check that out.
Yeah, just hit the, if you just hit the show button, it takes you to like the, a home page, like not the drop downs, just hit the button itself that says shows. And it'll take you to a page that has clickable links with banners for everything.
Awesome.
And so, every time a new show comes, I put them at the top. Or, you know, a show that was there, that left, that came back.
That's awesome.
Yay! Yay, JJ! I got them all programmed up already. Oh yeah, so Drew, we were talking about that before as I'm trying to get myself in here. Drew is gonna be on Sundays, and, he's taking Dinah's slot until, I don't know, Dinah's got some, family things going on. So, you know, when Dinah is ready and if she wants to come back at some point, I will always have a slot for her. We very much enjoyed Dinah's show. Everything she's ever said in those shows, I've learned something from. And then Judas Crowley, they are going to be on Sunday nights 8 to 10, and that again is going to be starting next weekend. So, should be some good stuff, but just a lot of work. Alright.
Yeah.
And I still got all the shows to cut that air this weekend. I haven't touched any of it because I've been trying to get all these shows ready to go.
Wow.
Yes, we use the same things that stop anywhere.
Oh, come on. Where the hell is this coming from now? Hold on. Oh, wait. I have another page open. There must be like 6 of me in chat. Here, check out this one. This is, I just love the way that header came out. Alright. That was for Drew's new page. Oh, and I turned that one on. Oh my god, I'm discombobulated! Alright, here now I can join the call. Oh, come on. What? I don't know what's going on! Oh, this one is not turning off. Alright, there we go. Now it's fixed.
Ooh, that's a nice one.
Take part in these elections. Many were too frightened to even speak with us.
Frig is going on? Autoplay is just playing in the background. Alright, kill. I guess not. My flash settings don't even let me click the button.
I hate Flash anymore.
Well, Flash is just broken constantly, and then it says, oh, we have local storage. Yeah, we want to save spy information to your
cloud,
computer, and so hit the allow or the deny button, but we're going to keep this really annoying box right in the middle so you can't control anything.
Right.
And nothing can click on that box. Like, it makes me want to take my mouse and start to smash it. So guess what? I'm not watching your video then. Oh, there we go. So, you know what? Fuck Poroshenko. And CBS.
Oh, yeah, CBS, man. CBS.
Here we go. Maybe it'll play. I won't be able to see it, but I'll just leave this warning box up. Oh, maybe. Maybe it'll decide to play on its own. I don't know. Screw this. Who cares? Just know that some billionaire candy maker, Petro Poroshenko, won the Ukrainian election. Now you've wasted way too much of my time. So I'm continuing on without you, Poroshenko. So, anyway, and what day was that? I think it may have even been the same day. Oh, it was 2 days before. So it was the 25th. So on the 27th, this is a clip I really wanted to play. This is Russia coming out and saying that Crimea will remain a part of Russia And it will not be returned to the Ukraine.
Woo.
Yes. So there was a statement made. Hold on. Or not. Holy
A spokesman for the Russian president says Crimea is a region of Russia and will never be returned to Ukraine. Dmitry Peskov's comment come after Ukraine's president-elect Petro Poroshenko said he will bring back Crimea under the Ukrainian rule. Crimea joined Russia in mid-March following a referendum in which residents overwhelmingly backed independence from Ukraine and becoming part of the Russian Federation. Since then, pro-Russia protesters in several eastern regions have tried to follow the example of Crimea.
So, I don't know, it really wasn't anything that significant except that they are setting it up now that you got some new billionaire, and I'm sure he's probably some sort of Western puppet.
Yeah.
Oh, here, we can read a little bit. Now it stopped playing, so we can read a little bit about who he is. Kiev, Ukraine, this is the 25th, so this is 5 days ago. An exit poll on Sunday showed that billionaire candy maker Petro Poroshenko won Ukraine's presidential election outright in the first round, a vote that authorities hoped would unify a deeply fractured nation. Long lines snaked around polling stations in Kiev for the vote, but heavily armed pro-rebels in the eastern Ukraine intimidated locals by smashing ballot boxes, of course. Now, all this stuff was kind of ramping up too with this pro-Russian, troublemakers. Except what I found interesting was that some of the foreign media, especially RT and Press TV, they're always like the thorn in the side. And remember, they're financed by foreign governments who have a propaganda agenda. But on the other hand, at times, I gotta say, there's more truthful news coming out there than there is out of our own media,
Oh, heck yeah.
And they were reporting, and both of them were, and there was footage that Blackwater, FKA Blackwater, whatever the hell they're called now, are there, and they're the ones that are making all the trouble.
That's
they're the ones that are the pro-Russian separatists, that they're now being entitled terrorists.
Bingo.
Gotta start now an anti-terror campaign in the Ukraine.
Of course. Gives us a reason to go in.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's where this is all leading up to, because I kind of want to draw a little line here how, we're making out that the Ukraine is a part of the Western community and they're NATO. They're not. No. It never happened, guys. They killed it in 2010. They are not a member of NATO. We have no right to be in there doing anything. No, none of us. At all.
Right.
At all. At all. Now I just gave the surprise away.
But that doesn't seem to stop us, though, you know?
It doesn't. It doesn't. And you know what? We want to suck them into NATO because then that means that they're going to be under our rule and we can go marching in there.
Sure. They've already staged this whole coup that happened there. I mean, that's all Western backed.
Oh, that's the girl's name. Yulia Tymoshenko.
Okay.
So, yeah, different name.
Yeah.
I guess they all sound kind of similar. The Ukrainian names. Just like Greek or Polish, they all have common endings. So is there anything interesting that I really want to read here? Yeah, let's read about what Putin has to say. I always pay attention to Putin. Vladimir Putin has promised to, quote, respect the choice of the Ukrainian people, and he said that he would work with the winner in an apparent bid to ease Russia's worst crisis with the West since the Cold War and avoid a new round of Western sanctions. Many voters appreciate Poroshenko's pragmatism and his apparent knack for compromise, a unique trait in a political environment long dominated by intransient figures. Poroshenko strongly backs closer ties with the 28-nation EU. Of course he does. But he also speaks about the need to normalize ties with Russia. Quotes, he is a very smart businessman. No, he's a very smart man who can work hard compared to others. And he is also a businessman who knows that compromises are necessary even if unpleasant. Now, here is a thought. Putin, and I'm just postulating here because I really haven't thought about this yet, but I'm thinking about it right this second, so you guys are going to be a part of my little gears turning. Putin is the richest ruler in the world. He's in that big B club, the billionaires club. Well, now the Ukrainian new president is too. Huh.
Oh, yeah,
Think they might know each other outside of the political circles?
A sucker ain't named Petrol for nothing.
Yeah, I have a feeling that these are like bosom buddies all the way. And not only that, but I bet you he's bosom buddies with like Soros and Gates.
Oh yeah.
All the other rich billionaires that are
Koch
pulling this
brothers.
Yep.
All them. They're the same damn circle.
I'm postulating here. I am just postulating. But billionaires know each other.
Mm-hmm.
Billionaires aren't going to be rubbing elbows with the likes of people like me, okay?
No.
Yeah, I'm going to guess.
I think I would support that supposition.
They probably have been on private jets together.
I know it!
And in Icelandic naked outdoor hot springs.
Right.
With blonde Swedes. Serving
doing
cocktails.
what billionaires do.
Yes, yes.
Oh my God. I'd say that was correct.
So, alright, that's all I wanted to get out of that. Was the fact that he was a billionaire and he was elected, because we really didn't touch on that, and we had talked quite a bit about the Ukraine crisis. So, now whoever this dude is in Russia, he's like some sort of aide to Putin, is saying though that we're not gonna let Crimea go with the Ukraine. Now, again, there's a lot of reasoning behind that. Remember, Crimea decided they wanted to separate from the Ukraine. Mm-hmm. And Crimea has long really kind of been under Russian rule, even though it wasn't officially, because of the military bases down there. And that is Russia's one connection out to the Black Sea. That's their port. That's their big port. A lot of the Russian separatists now, pro-Russian separatists, are being labeled as terrorists, and that is where they are saying that they are seeing Blackwater. Now, if you take a look at the dynamics of that whole situation, you now have pro-EU Westerners up in Ukraine pointing to southern regions of Crimea, which are pro-Russian, where Russia says that they are going to keep that section, and they're saying terrorists. So you see them lining this all up, right?
Oh, absolutely. Clear as day. It's the same old damn playbook they always use. It's retarded already.
So we're gonna come at now. I saw the other day that all of a sudden now, it's been kind of mellow and it's just been, protests in the street. If you guys have been watching the Ukrainian, hubbub since like October, November, since I was keeping all the playlists. I mean, there was some spectacular protests. That was some of the best stuff I've seen yet, with just like the burning walls and whatever. It was great. I mean, they sure made a statement.
Yeah, big time.
But what's happening now, I saw a video yesterday, the day before, there are people that are screaming, there have been shellings and bombings of residential neighborhoods now up in the Ukraine is what is going on. And they're blaming it, of course, on the pro-Russian separatists again. And now they're becoming more militant. So you see this beginning to spin out of control, right? I mean, literally bombing residential neighborhoods.
Wow.
So in response to that, never trust him, creepy son of a bitch Hagel, who took over the Department of Defense for Panetta, now comes out to make a statement. So this is kind of where I wanted to go with this.
Ukraine. A top Russian commander recently said that Russia would respond to NATO's buildup in Poland and the Baltics. Does that concern you as somebody that's on one of the sides playing chess with Putin here?
Yeah. Well, where I start is that NATO is a collective security institution, 28 members, all committed to Article 5 of that NATO treaty. An attack on one individual is an attack on all. I think Mr. Putin understands that. President Obama has made very clear, I've made clear, Secretary Kerry, all of us, that we will honor that commitment in all of the NATO countries. We have an obligation to do that. We are moving assets, strengthening and reassuring. We have to be prepared as a collective security group for any eventuality. But we shouldn't either forget that it's Russia who instigated this. They've brought on.
It is?
They've been the provocative ones. They brought on the tensions.
It is?
Wait a minute.
What a lion's dick.
And I'm going to tell you something. First of all, Ukraine is not part of NATO, and that's kind of where we were taking all this, because I did some research. This was the discussion I had the other night with my friend. We spent the whole night talking about Ukraine and how we are getting involved in this, but we have absolutely no right whatsoever.
Right.
So go for it, Dory. What?
Huh?
You said, wait a minute.
Well, no, I mean, I'm not surprised at all, you know?
Well, if you guys remember, too, it was probably already 2-3 weeks ago. It got lost in the news cycle. We started dropping troops in to all of the European countries around the Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
And off the top of my head, I don't remember all of them. I posted a couple stories. There were 3 or 4 nations, Poland being one. Hold on. We'll look really quick. NATO troops for Ukraine. And, you know, what do NATO troops usually do when they drop in?
Bomb the crap out of everybody and then take names later.
Well, right, because it's humanitarian missions usually.
Right. Yeah.
And then
after they've killed everybody,
then we're gonna drone bomb you for humanitarian.
We're gonna save you to death.
Yeah, save you to death.
That's good. Yep.
Yes. All right, here, let's see. Now, they say that Russia has withdrawn most of their troops from the Ukrainian border. We still have them all over. And, you know, here's the thing, like, before all this started, we were trying to get that missile shield in. Do you guys remember that? Into Poland, and Russia had a fit over it because it was, like, right at their border. And now we got NATO troops all over the ground. This was just such a big, fat, freaking excuse. Just like the Boko Haram abduction of the almost 300 girls in Nigeria, that now we have a new drone base in Chad.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And as soon as we dropped all those special forces in there and decided that, you know, we were gonna run this drone base in Chad, mysteriously, Nigeria comes out and says, oh, we found the girls! I don't think we had anything to do with that. I mentioned that before. I had seen a story that, Mike Rivero had posted out of an African publication from weeks ago saying that they'd already found the girls.
Mm-hmm.
I think that this was just a big setup. They waited, they knew they had them. We had to get our foot in to kind of get a little more central region for a new drone base for the proxy war we're having with China and Africa. And they said, just keep it quiet.
That's
now,
right.
Don't let me forget, by the way, there was a clip that came out yesterday that Ebola is still spreading, and I knew it. I knew it!
Yup. And I sent you that one little clip, too, that
they're just letting this percolate. There we go. Yes, we were just saying, I said the magic word, Ebola!
Yep.
We back on?
Yes, we are. Hey, how neat is that? You know how, like, ads on your website are targeted to things?
Yeah.
Well, I know in chat yesterday there was conversation about opioid addictions, and boy, look, I'm getting advertisements for opioid addiction doctors.
Oh, God.
Oh, shit, I sure am.
Oh, geez.
Oh, how funny is that?
That's freaking insane.
Kind of scary. I know. There have been a few times where a conversation I was having with Paul out here, I turned back to my Gmail and I got an ad down the side for what I was just talking about.
Yeah, that's scary.
That was after they had, given them, a copyright or whatever the hell they gave them to be able to start recording your shit.
Wow.
Yeah, freaky. So nothing you say or do is private. That's why yesterday I was like, hoochie coochie, whatever. I hope you enjoy it. Post it everywhere.
That was fucking funny. Oh my God.
Talking about, I mean, I'm at a point, especially after childbirth. I mean, if anybody's had a kid and then had technical difficulties, so you're in a hospital with like 32 doctors and freaking med students all standing around you gawking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know.
For days.
You're like a guinea pig or
Well, even beyond a guinea pig, it's like you just don't give two shits anymore. It's like, whatever.
something. Just leave me alone.
Yeah, so I'm trying to find the nations that we dropped troops into. I know one was Poland, there was like a Kazakhstan or something. I mean, it was all these, yeah, well, they don't, Poland to the German-Dutch border, but they still don't say. So whatever, who cares? Look it up if you want to know. It was in like 4 different countries right around the Ukraine that we deployed troops. There were 6,000 of them. We talked about it at the time. I'm just trying to kind of outline because they were all NATO troops, and this is where Hagel is now saying that the U.S. and NATO will respond to the Russian provocation, which we were the ones that went in there and started stirring up trouble. All that happened is that the former president of the Ukraine, he was in negotiations with the EU and the IMF, and you had 2 sides of protest going on in the Ukraine. One was the pro-EU, and one was the pro-Russia. And I even remember we talked about those very first protest videos because the pro-Russian protests were pretty small, and they reminded me of my grandmother's generation, like when they first got off the boat from Poland with, you know, the, what do they call it? With the Mother Mary and the, what do they call the baby, like the old Eastern European, they had some of those images with the black, it's called the Black Virgin, and they had the baby, and the baby has a name. I don't remember. It's too early. I'm only on half a cup. But anyway, my grandmother used to have old photographs of that up in the attic and stuff, you know, from like old school Eastern Europe. Mm-hmm. And so that's what in these original pro-Russian protests, they looked like old school Polish, like my grandmother, my great-grandmother with their little babushkas on, all carrying their Our Lady of Czestochowa, you know, Black Virgin pictures. That's what they were doing. That was their protest. And I remember we even watched that video and I posted it on my WTF page because I was like, what? Wow, those are some protesters. And what happened was, a lot of the Ukraine wanted to go with Europe. They wanted to become part of the European Union. And like we said, careful what you ask for, people, because it is a den of vipers over there. You know, you might be thinking that you're going to get Levi jeans and Nikes cheaper, but you're also going to become part of the New World Order, okay? Not that Russia and Putin isn't a part of this whole game. Don't think that there are even opposite sides going on here. This is just a big pawn. And, like I had mentioned the other day, and tonight, by the way, is the replay of, that Truth on the Tracks, Brandon's episode that actually really digs in deep to this whole proxy war that's going on over there, and tying it back to the Grand Chessboard from Zbig Brzezinski. He actually outlined all of this back in 1997.
Yes, he did.
So definitely something to listen to this 9 p.m. tonight Eastern here if you want to get a better understanding of the dynamics that are going on there. But just know that this is a grand chessboard. These poor people are being now stuck in the middle of a game like all these other countries where they are just collateral damage and they really don't matter. And
don't at all.
No, and they're playing into it just like we are. When we play into some of the bullshit that we see, some of the unawake friends and family that we have that play into this like two-party politics bullshit, you're just being played. It's all part of the orchestration. None of it is real. It is just to keep you occupied and distracted and fighting amongst yourselves. That's what it's
exactly.
about.
So they can go on doing whatever they do.
Robbing you. It's all about robbing you. I mean, in Ukraine, you better believe it's about the oil. And it's about the location.
Big time.
They want it. They want it all. Here, they're sucking every ounce of wealth out of this country. They're sucking every coffer dry, every manufacturing job, all the corporations, everybody's got their hand out, and they're taking every crumb out of the cookie jar. And then we're gonna be left as an empty shell, ripe, begging for someone to come save us. That's the way it works.
Yeah.
We're some of us are sticking our hands up going, bullshit. And they're going, you just wait. It'll get worse. I mean, it's not going to be pretty. So don't fall victim to this. So this is exactly the same garbage that they're doing in the Ukraine. So anyway, this last president that they had, one that had been elected legitimately, had gone to the EU, he was ready to ink contracts, and Putin came in at the 11th hour and said, hey, I got billions of dollars for you. We're gonna cut a deal. And he has the president go to Russia, and they ink a deal in the 11th hour. And that's what touched it off. All the pro-EU protesters went apeshit because he inked the deal for dollars with Russia. Now, I probably wouldn't have been too happy about that had I been a Ukrainian. But on the other hand, that is not a reason to start trashing your country. And we start seeing Molotov cocktails and things of that nature. Now, in the middle of all this, I don't remember if Hitler showed up there, but I know John Kerry did, and I know a few others did, and I know they started waving around European checks. And they inked a deal with the EU as well, if you remember.
Yeah, they sure did.
And the next thing you know, I believe, what's his puss? Freaking, we talked about him yesterday.
What's his puss?
Gimpy from Hanoi Hilton. What the hell's his name? McCain shows up.
Yeah. Gimpy
he touches down in the Ukraine, and the next thing you know, all shit's hitting the fan.
That's right, which is usually what he brings with him whenever he
touches
down anywhere.
He brings rebel forces with him. I mean, we saw him Memorial Day last year kicking back.
That's right.
That's what he does. He is not one for peace.
Right. When McCain finally gets to your region, you better run.
Run. Yeah, exactly. So that's how this all spun up. So the next thing you know, Russia's moving in troops all around. We got whatever going on down in Crimea. They said they weren't Russian troops. They said that they were Crimeans that were protecting the Crimean bases because Crimea wants to go back to Russia. They had a vote. They had an official vote. We won't recognize their official votes.
Yeah, what nerve, huh?
Yeah, what nerve. We don't recognize what the people voted. Because democracy is only democracy when we are the one who's putting the puppet into place.
That's right.
And making the decisions. So now we have Hagel coming out and saying that Putin started all this. He really didn't. It was the Ukrainian president. If you want to pick one individual to stick a finger in his face, it was the Ukrainian president. If he was elected, and he was elected fairly, and the people were behind him, which I don't think they were. I think they questioned him a little bit, but still, he should have done what his people wanted, or the majority of his people. There should have been a vote or something, right?
That's right.
And regardless if Putin dangled a carrot in front of his face, and regardless of what carrot he took, that was his decision. That wasn't Putin's fault. We were doing the same damn thing, dangling carrots in his face.
Exactly.
So now, though, we turn it around and now it's all Putin. Putin did it. Yep, Putin did it. Now, I'm not going to say that Putin's off the hook. Neither are we. This has been this proxy war going on between us. And remember, this started in other countries that are mentioned in the Grand Chessboard. The most recent one before this was Syria. Look at how that's all working out for them.
Yep. And aren't they going back into Syria?
I didn't see that one yet, but I'm not going to doubt it. I saw Libya now. We got warships off the coast.
No, I meant Libya. Yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, Syria, man, we were supposed to be getting rid of all those chemical weapons and blah, blah, blah. Notice how it's gotten super quiet.
Yeah, just, you know, they were having the ships go in, they were doing it, and then just nothing. Nothing at all. So, did they get all the weapons, all the weapons out of there, or what,
I don't know. I'm sure that they're going to probably show up in the Ukraine next, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Isn't that going to be how you have crimes against humanity? Oh my God, now there's chemical weapons, and it's the rebels! That's how we play, isn't it?
Yep,
it is. Bastards.
Disgusting. So, anyway, Hagel coming out and saying that the U.S. and NATO will respond to Russian provocation really started to get my hackles up. Because I'm like, wait a second. I thought I read that Ukraine was not part of NATO. So I was talking to my friend the other night. Now hold on, we gotta scroll up here. Let's scroll up to find this, cause we started ripping through Wikipedia just to find, oh yeah, freaking McCain. Oh, I can't stand even seeing pictures of that dude. Oh,
McCain and Kerry, I know, either one of them.
Yeah, Kerry's another one. This new Facebook layout sucks ass beyond the grave. This is awful. I will never be able to find a story, ever, here, doing it this way. Alright, so anyway, we started doing a little research, and went out and just took a look. There was a Wikipedia entry titled Ukraine-NATO Relations, and I'm going to read you the first paragraph here. Relations between Ukraine and the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, affectionately known as NATO, started in 1994. Ukraine applied to join the NATO Membership Action Plan, which is MAP, in 2008. On December 3rd, 2008, NATO decided it will work out an annual national program of providing assistance to the Ukraine to implement reforms required to exceed the alliance without referring to MAP. So, I don't know, MAP almost sounded to me like it was some interim group that you got into, like a pre-NATO organization, but once you got through those rules and regulations, we'll let you in. Plans for Ukrainian membership to NATO were then shelved by the Ukraine following the 2010 Ukrainian presidential election, in which Viktor Yankov, which that really isn't his name, which I thought it was. My friend kept using that name, and I was calling him that, and then he's like, no, I was only kidding. His name is Yakonov. Well, it's hard to pronounce. Yakonovich, something like that. Viktor Yakonovich was elected president. President Yakonovich opted to keep Ukraine a non-aligned state. So this president that just ran to Russia, okay, the one who negotiated the funds from Russia, who now is out of office, obviously, he was the one that decided that they weren't going to be a part of NATO. But he was the officially elected president there. He decided they weren't going to be part of NATO. So all of a sudden now, how is Ukraine a part of NATO?
Right. Huh.
Because listen to this. According to numerous independent polls conducted over the past few years, Ukrainian public option on NATO membership is low. A 2009 Gallup poll asked Ukrainians whether they thought that NATO was a threat or protection to the Ukraine. 40% of Ukrainians saw NATO as a threat.
Wow.
17% saw it as protection, and 33% saw it as neither. 40% saw it as a threat. So we are going to take the big, fat NATO spoon and jam it right down your gagging throat is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
That's how it's done, man. That's how they totally are doing it right now.
And we're using this whole fake thing with Putin and Russia that we've orchestrated. This just gets me so mad that these people are going to end up in the middle of a bloody disaster. And guess what? I will bet you already got Blackwater in there. I bet you Halliburton is. Oh, wait. Speaking of Halliburton, don't I scroll down the side of the wiki entry and I see freaking Rumsfeld's face. Hold the phone. The same old nasty bastards, crispy critters, are here again.
Yep.
Isn't it funny the way they show up?
Well,
Cheney and Rummy.
This is from 2005, this photo, but it says Secretary of Defense, so back when he was still in, Donald Rumsfeld and Victoria Nuland at the NATO-Ukraine consultations in Vilnius, Lithuania. So they were all a part of trying to get them, and of course, remember, Ukraine has lots of oil. Mm-hmm. Of course we want them to be a part of the NATO forces that we can then come in. And you're like, but what does the U.S. really have over that region? Well, in part of the conversations, I was educated to, and here, wait, let me drop this first one too, because guys, this is something to look at in your free time, I'm telling you, because it will shed so much more light onto the bullshit that you are seeing right now that you're gonna go, man, how was I so blind? I know I do. Every time I look into the stuff, I do. So there's the one on the, history of the Ukraine-NATO relations. But this next one is about how we somehow have rights to be policeman of the world. Well, policeman of the world, my friend says, well, it has to do with the United States Central Command. I'm like, United States Central Command, what is that? Well, apparently the United States Central Command, from everything that I gathered, are different regions of the world that we have designated as tantamount to the U.S. security. Isn't that how that always works?
Well, who gave us that freaking authority?
I'll tell you. I had that question. I'm like, what authority that we decide with the president of the world? Well,
on our authority.
No, our authority is that we helped win World War II and we liberated Europe. And so under the guise, and I think it's called the Truman Doctrine, he said. I don't remember. It was something Truman. I've told you, I never paid attention to history, guys. So this is all a big history lesson for me, but holy shit. And I get a daily history lesson. Under this Truman document, and if anyone's out there who remembers what it's called, drop me a note. We declared that because we rescued the world from World War II, it is in our security interest to make sure that these different regions of the planet are secure. And especially in today's day and age, because it's a global community, right? We have, issues in Japan or issues in the Philippines, and there are supply chain problems keeping the economy running, or keeping Walmart running, keeping the Chinese chicken industry running.
Right.
So it has allowed us to declare, here, I'm going to send you guys this picture if I can. It has allowed us to declare that all these different regions are under our rule of some sort. Now,
so this is in place with, obviously in the Truman years.
That is where it supposedly came from, yes. Now, if you guys will click on that map, and this map is coming out of a wiki entry that is titled Unified Combatant Commands. Interesting name, huh? Combatant. Notice how they've used that one?
Oh yeah, they have all their little keywords that they throw in.
Yeah, that's what that map is titled. The wiki entry is actually United States Central Command. You are going to see that every region of the globe has been assigned a military central command.
Designation?
Yes, by the United States.
It looks, according to this map, it looks like the U.S. just took over the whole frickin' world.
Well, apparently we did. And then we just didn't know it. And I actually see that this map is also from 2008. Which is when they were trying to get the whole Ukrainian thing to go through.
That's crazy.
So let me read a little bit of this history. And this is the one that got some good views. I mean, honestly, all this stuff happened, and if we haven't been paying attention to all this stuff, and I mean, my friend has for a lot of years, but I didn't, because I didn't give two shits. I thought politics was a crock. I thought the military was a crock. I thought all of them were just boys with toys, and all about making money and blowing people up. That's it. And you know what? I wasn't wrong on that, but when stuff like that pisses me off, I just have no use for it. You know, for me, it is much better to just ignore it and keep myself calm and not stressed out over getting pissed off over things that I can do nothing about. But unfortunately, in this day and age, we can't do that anymore because I think that that's kind of what got us to where we are now.
I agree.
Exactly.
I mean, I never even voted because you know what? There was no one that deserved my vote. I'm not even going to say I voted in 2008.
Yeah.
That's not
you don't want to bring that up.
That's not bring that up because I was duped.
Hey, most people were duped.
Absolutely. So anyway, all right. But that's what woke me up too. That whole birth certificate bullshit. The day that I saw those layers, I was like, what? You lying sack of shit. Like being cheated on by a boyfriend. It's all about relationships, and that was a special relationship. I gave you my trust, and I had never given another elected official my trust before. And then you screwed me and you lied to me. So I'm here now. And that's what really, between that and Fukushima and nothing on the news and everyone saying it's okay, and I knew it wasn't okay. Those were the two catalysts that turned me into a crazy woman now, okay?
Yeah. It's all their fault.
It is. It's their fault. They did it.
But at least you're paying attention now. And
yeah, I'm paying attention.
Grateful for that instead of not knowing what the hell's going on and giving two shits about it.
So, all right, I'm going to read a little bit of this, and then we only got like half an hour left, so we'll do some other stuff after this, because Friday's supposed to be fun. But hey, Friday could be a good educational day. This is stuff that I know I did not know. I've never seen that Central Command map. Have you?
No, ever. Never.
I always wondered how we thought that we were the policemen of the world. Well, this apparently is what gives us the right. And us helping liberate the world after World War II from the Germans. Right?
Yeah, just look at every country we've liberated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, right. And then and I really would be interested too. We should probably look into how we got involved in NATO, because I really don't even know about the history way back. I bet that wiki entry would tell more. Guys, I'm trying to cut over 4 new shows and I got 9 shows to cut for the weekend. So, there's only so much I can force into my head at one time.
Right.
Alright, so, I'm gonna read a little bit of this. The United States Central Command, or U.S. CENTCOM, is a theater-level unified combatant command of the U.S. Department of Defense, established in 1983. So, God, who was president? It wasn't, 86 was, Reagan, because as you graduated.
George Bush was in 83, wasn't he?
83, hold on. Well, if 86 was
Reagan, I'm sorry.
Reagan.
It was Reagan.
And it happens on even, like 80, 90, 2008, right? It's even years. So that would have been 2004, 2000, 96, 92, 86. So 86, Reagan was elected. So,
it was Carter then.
Who was before Reagan?
Carter.
Was it Carter? Was the 70s?
Yes.
Or was it Ford?
No,
Ford was before
Ford
Carter.
was 70s,
That's
Carter's were 70s. It might have been GW Senior.
I think it
was.
was.
GW Senior, the two Bushes sandwiched each, Reagan.
Yeah, one on each side. So
hold on. When?
Well, if it was before Reagan, it was Carter.
No, I'm not sure about that. Can somebody use
If it was
Wikipedia?
after Reagan, it was Bush.
Well, instead of guessing, let's look it up.
I'm pretty sure I'm right.
He was in office, yes. He was 81 to 89.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we were just talking...
83.
Wait a minute. What? George H.W. Bush. It says 89 to 93, and that was G.W. Jr. Why is he in with the senior's dad's picture on Wikipedia?
what?
That's
It was Junior. That was the Gulf War, because my friends went into that.
Right. So
He was
that
preceded by, see, the two George Bushes sandwiched Ronald Reagan. Before Ronald Reagan, 43rd president. This Wikipedia entry is incorrect, guys. The 41st president they're saying was 89 to 93, and the 43rd president they're saying is 81 to 89. But how could you have the 43rd president before the 41st president?
What? Oh
That's
my
the
God!
problem
now
with
I'm
Wikipedia.
totally...
Anybody can edit it.
Right, but this was
Yeah.
this is totally wrong. So hold on, 1988. That was when Bush Jr. ran his campaign as a Republican. This is Herbert Walker Bush, the 41st president. Yeah, this is wrong. This is wrong. This is a wrong entry, guys. Absolutely.
84 was Reagan.
Yeah,
Hold
84
on.
with Reagan, for
We're gonna
sure.
see here. All right, Prescott S. Bush. Well, that was the father, the mother, the siblings, the wife, the children. 41st president of the United States. He went to Yale. He was born in 1924. Yes, did you know that they were from Massachusetts? They were not from Texas.
No,
Originally,
right.
yeah, Massachusetts.
He served as CIA director.
Mm-hmm.
He was actually the chief liaison to China under Ford.
Yeah.
And then he served as CIA director, and then from 81 to 89. 81 to 89. This is still wrong.
That's not right.
He was the vice president under Reagan?
Yes, he was vice president 81 to 89. Yeah, that makes sense. Yes, he was vice president.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait, maybe this is,
So
maybe
it was-
it's me. Wait a minute.
Reagan.
Yes. George Senior was the Gulf War, guys, because George
Yeah, I know he was.
Jr.
The first
just got out before freaking, Obama.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So he was in the, okay, so
But he didn't sandwich Reagan because
followed
Carter, yes, he followed Reagan.
But he was vice president under Reagan.
Yes.
For 8 years.
Carter was
During the
the
Contras.
president before Reagan, and then Reagan was in there in 83, and then was Bush Senior.
Yep.
It's
This is exactly what I said.
hard to talk and think at the same time. And then
That's okay.
all right. So now I completely lost the page I was reading. All right.
Thank God it's Friday.
Yeah, well, it's been a long week, guys. I still haven't recovered from trying to take a couple days off.
I know, and now you got
a couple days off. They worked a couple days off, and they were like 20 hours leading up to trying to take a couple days off, so I could actually take a couple days off. So,
Oh man,
I am kind of in like a comatose, drooling state at the moment, and I still have so much more to do. All I want to do is like curl up under my desk. All right, so we're gonna get back to this CENTCOM. Its area of responsibility includes countries such as the Middle East. Including countries in the Middle East, North Africa, and Central Asia, most notably Afghanistan and Iraq, of course. U.S. CENTCOM, also called CENTCOM, has been the main American presence in many military operations, including the Persian Gulf War, the war in Afghanistan 2001 to present, and the war in Iraq. Forces from CENTCOM currently are deployed primarily in Iraq and Afghanistan as combat roles and have bases in Kuwait, Bahrain, Qatar, the United Emirates, Oman, Pakistan, and Central Asia in supporting roles. CENTCOM forces have also been deployed in Jordan and Saudi Arabia in the past, and although there is a small presence remaining in each of those countries, no substantial U.S. forces are based there as of 2009. Now remember, I don't think we ever pull out forces once we've occupied.
Not that I've ever
hell
Not
no.
that I can remember.
The current commander of CENTCOM is General Lloyd J. Austin of the USA, who took command from General James Mathis of the USMC on March 22nd of 2013. Mathis took command from Lieutenant General John Allen, the USMC, the deputy commander since July 2008, who took temporary command when the previous commander, we know this one, General Petraeus, left to take command of the International Security Assistance Force in Afghanistan. And then didn't he become like the head of the DOD and all this stuff?
Guess where Petraeus is right now? He has been spotted at Bilderberg.
Oh, how nice.
Yes. Go ahead.
But here's my question. Why isn't the DOD in charge of CENTCOM? Who are these other people?
Yeah, and what
and who are they
do they
reporting
represent?
to?
Yeah. Those are awesome questions
yeah,
that I can't answer.
I don't see any direct line to anything here.
It's a secret.
You know who it's the secret government?
Oh wait, notable commanders of CENTCOM. Petraeus, Admiral William Fallon, John Azabraid, General Tommy Franks, General Anthony Zinni, General James Mathis, and General Norman Schwarzkopf.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
We know him.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's scroll down a little bit because I am really confused then as to who is in charge here.
Who do they report to?
I don't know. Now the components. Let's look at the history a little bit. So in 1983, the U.S. Central Command succeeded the Rapid Deployment Joint Task Force, which I've seen that acronym before, RDJTF.
Yeah.
With responsibilities for handling United States national security interests in Southwest Asia, Central Asia, and the Persian Gulf. Among its first 5 activities was the oversight of the tanker war in the Persian Gulf in 1987 to 1988. So this was leading up to, this is when senior George Bush was vice president. So they must have already started a little bit of a skirmish with Iraq in the Gulf War. And then when senior came into office, that was one of the first things he did. Was went in after that horrible man Saddam Hussein.
That's right.
In April to July of 1999, CENTCOM conducted Exercise Desert Crossing 1999. That was the name of the mission. Centered on the scenario. Oh. So this is in 1999. Now remember, George Bush Sr. never deposed Saddam Hussein.
Right.
We went and blew the crap out of the country. Got all kinds of mercenaries in there. Created a hotbed of quote-unquote terrorist activities. Got them to all hate us even more than, I don't know how much they really hated us at that point.
Well, we were over there like almost 10 years before the big Iraq war, tormenting those people.
So in April to July of 1999, they had an exercise called Desert Crossing 1999. This was CENTCOM, by the way. Centered on the scenario of Saddam Hussein being ousted as Iraq's dictator.
Really?
Go figure. And these exercises were held in the McLean, Virginia offices of Booz Allen. Really? They're a military contractor?
I'd say so. They used to be until they changed their name.
Don't they have all kinds of senators, congressmen that are billionaires, millionaires because they invested money in companies like them?
That's right. That's right. Boy, kind of sounds like what's going on in the Ukraine.
Yeah, wow, this is pretty amazing. This exercise concluded that unless measures are taken, fragmentation and chaos will ensue after Saddam Hussein's overthrow. Hey, aren't we seeing that right now? Iraq has won the global designation of being the absolute most dangerous, worst, awful city on the planet to live in right now. Thank you, USA.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I can feel already my blood pressure going up. That's why I don't do this stuff.
You're blowing out the speakers, Jules.
Oh, sorry. Well,
No, I'm just
the thing is, you know what, guys? This is why history is so important.
It is.
Because all this crap was laid out, and all the stuff that's going on today is not an accident.
No.
And all these assholes have known about it, and they've been carefully planning and investing and getting all their ducks in a row to profit from it when they pull the pin.
Exactly. The Council on Foreign Relations have been freaking writing about this in the late 90s, early 90s. Exactly. They've been writing, they published their shit. Nobody reads it, do they?
The CFR is like the backbone of all this.
Exactly.
And all skull and bones.
Yup, absolutely. These bastards are all working in cahoots against us.
That's why I find it hard to believe that the billionaire that just won, quote unquote, won the election in the Ukraine.
Petrol,
yes.
That's
is not on some sort of elbow rubbing billionaire terms with Putin, okay?
It's not, they're not rubbing elbows, it's a butt rubbing.
Yeah, we do the butt wiggle rub.
Yeah.
Billionaire butt wiggle rub.
That's great because that's exactly what they do.
You know, don't believe it. Well, it appears. Wow, we lost people in chat. Well, good. I hope the people that left were ones that had to go to work and not ones that said, I don't need to know that because you're the ones who lose, not me.
That's right.
All right. I don't know. Do we really want, well, let's do a little bit more. The components of the CENTCOM are multifaceted. Remember, we had the Infinipus.
Yeah.
Was it? The octopus. I wonder if Madison ever did a Wikipedia, an Urban Dictionary entry for that. That was his term, Infinipus. Like,
that's awesome.
How to put that in there? All right, the components. No fighting units are directly subordinate to this command. Rather, there are 4 subordinate service component commands and 1 subordinate unified command. I don't know what that means, and nor do they explain it. All right. Service component commands, there are 4 of them. There is the U.S. Army Forces Central Command, and that is headquartered out of the Shaw Air Force Base in South Carolina, which even weirder still, it's Army Forces centered out of an Air Force base. Then there's the U.S. Marine Forces Central Command that's headquartered out of MacDill Air Force Base in Florida. So there's the Marines being headquartered out of an Air Force base. There's the U.S. Navy Forces Central Command, which, hey, look at that. They are headquartered out of their own naval base, but a naval support activity base in Bahrain. And then there is the U.S. Air Force Central, which is also headquartered, just like the Army Forces Central, out of the Shaw Air Force Base in South Carolina. There's also a sub-unified command called the Special Operations Command Central, and that is headquartered out of the same base as the Marine Forces. That is out of the MacDill Air Force Base in Florida. Now, guys, doesn't this sound like really convoluted?
It does.
Who is on first?
Mm-hmm.
Who is in charge? Who is giving these guys the right to invade countries or rule the world or drop troops in, or that map that has us with all these commands being in charge of all parts of the world? Who the frick are these people? That's what I want to know.
And how did they get the power to do this?
Because out of all that stuff that you've read so far, none of that explains anything. It doesn't explain
anything.
Thing, and it's all Orwellian doublespeak from what I've heard. It's just, just put any kind of technical language down there and people will swallow it.
Here, let's take a look, because here, geographical scope. In 1983, with the establishment of the Command Egypt, Sudan, Kenya, Ethiopia, Somalia, and Djibouti, which I just saw, there's stuff happening in Djibouti now as well. And guys, 1983, where are all these countries? Egypt is the country that leads the way to what? The continent of Africa, of which the rest of the countries, Sudan, Kenya, Ethiopia, Somalia, and Djibouti, are in. So in 1983, with the establishment of the Command, Egypt, Sudan, Kenya, Ethiopia, Somalia, and Djibouti came within the, what they call, Area of Responsibility, or AOR for short. Thus, CENTCOM became responsible for the natural bond exercises with Sudan, the Eastern Wind exercises with Somalia, the Jade Tiger exercises with Oman, Somalia, and Sudan. Exercise Jade Tiger involved the 31st Marine Expeditionary Unit with Oman from the 29th of November of 1982 through the 8th of December of 1982. The formal area of responsibility now for CENTCOM extends to 20 countries: Afghanistan, Bahrain, Egypt, Iran, Iraq, Jordan, Kyrgyzstan, Kuwait, Kyrgyzstan, Lebanon, Oman, Pakistan, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Syria, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, United Arab Emirates, Uzbekistan, and Yemen. International waters included are the Red Sea, the Persian Gulf, and portions of the Indian Ocean. Syria and Lebanon are the most recent additions, having been transferred from the United States European Command on March 10th, 2004. Israel, which is now surrounded by CENTCOM countries, remains in the United States European Command because it is more politically, militarily, and culturally aligned with Europe, according
What? That is a load of shit! I'm sorry, Jules.
I know, I can't even believe what we're reading here, guys.
The whole freaking region, but I'm thinking, as you were reading it, I'm going, okay, why didn't they say Israel?
Yeah. Because Israel's special, guys. They're special.
Unbelievable.
They're European.
They're European designation.
I just want to click, there is a link here for this AOR, Area of Responsibility. Oh, look, and there's a wiki entry. AOR, Area of Responsibility, is a predefined geographic region assigned to a combatant commanders of the Unified Command Plan, or the UCP, that are used to define an area within a specific geographic boundary where they have the authority to plan and conduct operations for which a force or component commander bears a certain responsibility. The term may also be used in other countries worldwide, but it originates within the United States Armed Forces. The system is designed to allow a single commander to exercise command and control of all military forces in their AOR, regardless of the branch of service. The President of the United States signed the U.S. Unified Command Plan in December of 2008. So this was outgoing Bush? Outgoing Bush.
Yes.
Establishing up-to-date boundaries for the newest command, the United States African Command, which is the U.S. AFRICOM, and all changes to boundaries of all the other commands. The U.S. Unified Command Plan of 2011 was signed on April 6, 2011. Boundaries were adjusted in the high northern latitudes between the U.S. EUCOM, U.S. NORTHCOM, and U.S. PACOM. And then there's another map to that. Combatant commanders may designate theaters of war, theaters of operation, combat zones, and communication zones. Joint Force Commanders may define additional operations and joint areas to assist in the coordination and execution of joint operations. The size of these areas and the types of these forces used depend on the scope, nature, and projected duration of the operation. Guys, when Bush Jr. left office, and then with Obama with his Unified Command Plan, we pretty much gave us rights to declare war anywhere in the world and be in control, is what it appears.
The only person who was predetermining this? One question. Second question, why is it just because the president signed it, I didn't see any other of these countries consenting to this.
And I didn't see anything at all about a vote or Congress or
nothing. So, holy crap.
Holy crap is right.
And doesn't Congress have to declare the wars?
Yeah. Well, not anymore since this was signed.
Yeah.
But, since the Department of Defense is now crying the blues that they got a line item what they spend their money on.
Yeah. Dude.
So their second set of books, though, that no one will see.
I'm
just
pretty
like
sure.
the VA.
That's right. Just like, that's correct.
Wow. This is just unbelievable.
It's mind-blowing. This is illegal. It was illegally derived.
Well, this is police. Did you see that map?
Contrived? Yeah.
The
entire world.
We're going all the way back. I mean, I'm seeing pictures and looking at this Ukraine-NATO relations and how the Ukraine isn't even part of NATO, and we're seeing pictures of freaking Donald Rumsfeld.
Right.
I mean, this was all, oh my God.
They've just designated the entire world, pretty much.
Is ours. And 1983, we're setting up operations in Africa.
Wow, this is really, really hardcore. And now, what are we doing? Building bases there.
Yeah, lots of them. All right, you know what? We are just about getting close to being out of time here, but I want to play a couple things. So, talking about Africa and talking about Ukraine, there are two little things here now that we're going to look at. One is, so let's bounce really quick back to the Ukraine. So right, we were talking about the two separate sides. There's the Ukrainians, the pro-EU, and then there's the pro-Russian down in the southern portion of, Crimea. We know that the pro-Russian separatists now that have now been labeled terrorists. There was a clip that came out yesterday that was titled, and I had to give it like a snarky spin, because I could see through this shit like nothing. It's titled, "Are Chechenian Militants Now Fighting in the Ukraine?" Now, where have we seen the Chechenian terrorists before? Do you remember?
Back in Bill Clinton years.
Oh no, even more recent than that. The Tsarnaev brothers, people!
Oh,
The Boston bombing! The Tsarnaev, the Chechnyan rebels. And then, when we had the Olympics, remember? All those poor people that they were plowing and taking their lands and whatever and building expressways over their property for the corrupt Russian Olympics?
Right.
All those people that were pissed off were Chechens. And they were worried that the Chechens were gonna blow things up. And remember, there was all the rumors about the Chechens being supported by Prince Bandahar out of Saudi Arabia. And that whole conversation with Putin about, hey, well, you want to mess with me? We're going to set off some terrorist attacks to mar your Olympics. Well, now in the Ukraine, doesn't the militant Chechen pop up again in the propaganda? Are Chechnyan militants fighting in the Ukraine? Here, we're going to play this.
Trying to work out exactly what's going on and who's who in Ukraine's slowly bubbling civil war is pretty confusing. Depending on which news sources you look at, you get a very different picture. From the perspective of most Western news outlets, the Ukrainian military effort is being led by special forces against a group of separatist rebels, led and heavily staffed by Russian special forces, intent on seizing the area and declaring it a new state within the Russian Federation. From the point of most Russian-language local media in Donetsk and other separatist areas, the Ukrainians are neo-Nazis and their troops poorly trained fascist thugs from the newly formed National Defence Battalions, with the occasional mercenary thrown in for good order. But now there seems to be a new and very worrying player in the field. There's mounting evidence to suggest that Chechen fighters are flocking to the pro-Russian separatist cause. In particular, ethnic Chechen troops from the officially disbanded Vostok Battalion. The Vostoks are a fearsome group of former Chechen rebels who switched sides and swore allegiance to Russia following the First Chechen War. They were officially a so-called special battalion under the command of Russian military intelligence and saw action in the Second Chechen War, where they were accused of war crimes, as well as peacekeeping missions in Lebanon and during the 2008 South Ossetia War against Georgia. The unit was officially disbanded in 2008, but photographs have emerged which allegedly show Chechen fighters inside Ukraine, and Vice filmed at least one soldier in Donetsk claiming to be a Chechen national, and several vehicles marked Vostok Battalion. We can't show you that footage because it's Vice's, but we have included a link to it and it looks, on the surface at least, pretty compelling. The evidence so far is largely anecdotal. The Chechen president, Ramzan Kadyrov, has vehemently denied sending Chechens in an official capacity to Donetsk because, he says, the country has no armed forces because it's part of Russia, adding that any Chechens who had gone to fight were doing so off their own backs. He also denied having any knowledge of what his citizens were doing, telling a press conference that there are 3 million Chechens and 2/3 of them live outside the Republic, including in the West. We cannot know, and are not supposed to know, which of them goes where. Nevertheless, the fact that the Chechen president has had to come out and deny any involvement in Ukraine suggests that the stories are circulating very widely. In particular, there's a claim that in a recent attack by Ukrainian forces on Donetsk airport, which saw some 100 separatists killed, at least one truck full of Chechen fighters was destroyed. Of course, that can't be verified, and even if the troops were Chechen, it's entirely possible that they were mercenary units hired to fight Ukrainian special forces. For its part, the Donetsk People's Republic has claimed that so far all the victims of the assault have been Donetsk soldiers, although statements suggest none were carrying any formal ID. And that does make verifying any of the stories so far somewhat difficult. Working out who's who in a war where everyone's in the same uniform is pretty tricky. We've done...
Hello?
I'm sitting here making comments and talking on mute. Oh, so there you go, like talking about making it a little more confusing and stirring it up. Jesus.
I like that little line he said, well, we've got the video, but we won't show it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What the hell is up with that?
Cause it was Vice's, so I don't know. Vice might be being a dick about using their stuff in clips or whatever.
Yeah, but the whole thing.
I don't view them. I've watched their stuff before. I don't know anything about them. Who are they? Oh. You know, I don't know. Who are they?
Oh, they
Prove
go
to
all
me
over
that
the
you
place.
that I can trust your source, and maybe I'll listen.
Yeah.
All right, here's the last one. So that was the first little toe into the Ukraine. So guys, the reason why I'm bringing all this up is because shit is getting ready to touch off. I saw the most deaths yesterday. He mentioned it, over 100 at that airport. A plane actually hit an airport in Donetsk, and then there was quite a lot of bloodshed. Over 100 people killed yesterday. It is going to turn into a civil war. I see it coming already. So that poor country is going to be devastated. And if anyone has me as a personal friend on Facebook, there was a header I had a couple weeks ago of this gorgeous castle sitting out on this islet to the ocean. That was in Ukraine, people. So, just like all the other beautiful things that when we step in and start a civil war, they get really destroyed. But here, last thing I want to play is, this is bullshit that I've been calling all along, that Ebola outbreak is not gone. It just faded because they didn't want people to panic, but here it is. It is now still spreading, and it is in Sierra Leone now. So, and only 4 people watched it, so
Guinea's health officials already have a difficult job keeping their population healthy, but they're now facing a new deadly opponent, Ebola. The capital, Conakry, has recorded its first new Ebola case in more than a month. That brings the number of new cases in the country to at least 14 since May the 23rd.
Si on regarde les différents lieux où la contamination peut se faire facilement.
If we look at different areas where infection can easily appear, like the morgue in mosques, that's a place where contamination can happen, which completely escapes health controls.
C'est un lieu de contagion.
Also, when you look at bus stations, given people's movements, that's also a place we need to get better grips with. We must send out a strong signal to all people involved in spreading the disease.
Now, I'm going to stop here for a second, and we're almost out of time anyway, but notice what he said in mosques. And that MERS, the MERS virus, that Middle Eastern Respiratory Syndrome, has now killed 186 in Saudi Arabia. And remember a clip that we played last week that had said in June, there's the big Ramadan. Isn't the big Ramadan? And they're all going to come to the homeland. And they're going to be going to mosques, guys. So I don't know. I mean, are we talking about some sort of biowarfare now? And they're going to attack Muslims?
Yeah.
Think about it. I don't know. We got about 20 seconds left, so I just want to thank you ladies for being on today. I want to say have a happy Friday, everybody, because it is sunny and nice here. I hope it is for everybody else. Thank you very much for listening. Everyone have a wonderful weekend. Make sure you stick around. We got all kinds of new shows coming up this weekend. And tonight, make sure you catch Brandon's episode at 9 and get a little bit more on what we were talking about today. All right, guys, I possibly will see you Saturday night if I'm around. If I'm not unconscious somewhere. I'll be here. Everyone have a glorious weekend. Drink a beer. Have some fun. Relax a little.
Thanks, guys.
Take care.